What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about on a daily basis, including money, investing, the stock market, the fourth stimulus package update, and the stimulus check update. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. I will keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country. President Biden just had a major announcement that he's calling for a ban on multiple different types of guns here. I'll let you hear directly from him here, and that the House of Representatives might be voting on this here as soon as possible. I'll show you that here directly after you hear the president here. But you can let me know your thoughts here on this, as we've already had 20 shootings, 20 mass shootings in the United States since Uvalde. Yeah, so this just shows what a problem it is here in the United States. Yeah, this is just unbelievable. And you could see the headline here from, I just Googled it and just brought it up here within 10 seconds. This is from Fox 59 in Indianapolis. But the Tulsa shooting that just happened here, which was where a gunman killed 4 people in a medical building, which is it's just unbelievable that this just continues to happen over and over and over. It's just, how does this just, and you got to kind of think here, can they make some type of change here? And you can see here, according to the Gun Violence Archive, 20 mass shootings have happened since Uvalde. The gun violence, the GVA, this defines a mass shooting as a single incident where 4 or more people, not including the gunman, are either shot or killed. So there's the definition of it, 4 or more people. And this has happened 20 times since Uvalde alone. And here's what President Biden has to say. Check this out.
On Memorial Day this past Monday, Jill and I visited Arlington National Cemetery. As we entered those hallowed grounds, we saw rows and rows of crosses among the rows of headstones with other emblems of belief, honoring those who paid the ultimate price on battlefields around the world. The day before, we visited Uvalde, Texas. In front of Robb Elementary School, we stood before 21 crosses for 19 third and fourth graders and 2 teachers. On each cross, a name, and nearby, a photo of each victim that Jill and I reached out to touch. Innocent victims murdered in a classroom that had been turned into a killing field. Standing there in that small town, like so many other communities across America, I couldn't help but think there are too many other schools, too many other everyday places that have become killing fields, battlefields here in America. We stood at such a place just 12 days before, across from a grocery store in Buffalo, New York, memorializing 10 fellow Americans, a spouse, a parent, a grandparent, a sibling, gone forever. At both places, we spent hours with hundreds of family members who were broken, whose lives will never be the same. They had one message for all of us: do something. Just do something. For God's sake, do something. After Columbine, after Sandy Hook, after Charleston, after Orlando, after Las Vegas, after Parkland, nothing has been done. This time that can't be true. This time we must actually do something. The issue we face is one of conscience and common sense. For so many of you at home, I want to be very clear. This is not about taking away anyone's guns. It's not about vilifying gun owners. In fact, we believe we should be treating responsible gun owners as an example of how every gun owner should behave. I respect the culture and the tradition and the concerns of lawful gun owners. At the same time, the Second Amendment, like all other rights, is not absolute. It was Justice Scalia who wrote, and I quote, "Like most rights, the rights granted by the Second Amendment are not unlimited." Not unlimited. It never has been. There have always been limitations on what weapons you can own in America. For example, machine guns have been federally regulated for nearly 90 years, and this is still a free country. This isn't about taking away anyone's rights. It's about protecting children. It's about protecting families. It's about protecting whole communities. It's about protecting our freedom to go to school, to a grocery store, to a church, without being shot and killed. According to new data just released by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, guns are the #1 killer of children in the United States of America. The #1 killer. More than car accidents, more than cancer. Over the last 2 decades, more school-age children have died from guns than on-duty police officers and active-duty military combined. Think about that. More kids than on-duty cops killed by guns. More kids than soldiers killed by guns. For God's sake, how much more carnage are we willing to accept? How many more innocent American lives must be taken before we say enough, enough? I know that we can't prevent every tragedy, but here's what I believe we have to do. Here's what the overwhelming majority of American people believe we must do. Here's what the families in Buffalo and Uvalde in Texas told us we must do. We need to ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. And if we can't ban assault weapons, then we should raise the age to purchase them from 18 to 21. Strengthen background checks, enact safe storage law and red flag laws, repeal the immunity that protects gun manufacturers from liability, address the mental health crisis, deepening the trauma of gun violence and as a consequence of that violence. These are rational, common sense measures. Here's what it all means. It all means this. We should reinstate the assault weapons ban on high-capacity magazines that we passed in 1994 with bipartisan support in Congress and the support of law enforcement. 9 categories of semi-automatic weapons were included in that ban, like AK-47s and AR-15s. And in the 10 years it was law, mass shootings went down. But after Republicans let the law expire in 2004, and those weapons were allowed to be sold again, mass shootings tripled. Those are the facts. A few years ago, the family of the inventor of the AR-15 said he would have been horrified to know that its design was being used to slaughter children and other innocent lives instead of being used as a military weapon on the battlefields, as it was designed. That's what it was designed for. Enough. Enough. We should limit how many rounds a weapon can hold. Why, in God's name, should an ordinary citizen be able to purchase an assault weapon that holds 30-round magazines that let mass shooters fire hundreds of bullets in a matter of minutes? The damage was so devastating in Uvalde, parents had to do DNA swabs to identify the remains of their children. 9 and 10-year-old children. Enough.
These mass shootings are literally happening by the day here in the United States. We had in the first 21 weeks in the United States, 213 mass shootings in the first 21 weeks in the United States. So you can see we're averaging 10 mass shootings per week in the United States. And, we've seen the definition of what that is here. So we're the only country in the world that has this problem of this magnitude, of this size here. And other countries have kind of solved this problem or at least whittled down this problem. Other countries like Canada and Australia have dramatically changed, their gun laws and have seen very positive effects. You can see from the New York Times, other countries had mass shootings. Then they changed their gun laws. Britain, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Norway all had a culture of gun ownership and all tightened their restrictions anyways. Their violence statistics now diverge sharply from those in the US. Now, this does not mean take away guns from everybody, but what they could do are things like 28, 30-day waiting period, background checks, not having high capacity magazines, not having, AK-14s, automatic rifles, things like, that the average person doesn't really need, right? Something that is I mean, of course there's going to be very different opinions on this, just like what the Roe versus Wade situation, which the Supreme Court still has not ruled yet on. Very different opinions, I get it, but if you want to own a gun for protection of your home, you can still buy one. But when it comes to having an AK-14, or a cannon or a rocket launcher, we're talking about very different things here, right? And the problem here is in the US, look at what happens here on a daily basis. We've had 20 mass shootings since Uvalde. And no background checks, no waiting periods. How do we protect our children? How do we protect people? How do we protect people at sporting events? How do we protect going forward, this from happening thousands, hundreds and thousands of times? And just, of course, it's never going to stop completely. Okay. Now in Australia, they've only had it happen one time since they've I believe one time since they've passed that law in 1996, but that's not going to happen here in the US. But if we could cut down from having it happen hundreds of times, if we could whittle that down 25% of the time, 50% of the time, 75% of the time, imagine the lives we could save. Think of the children that died just in that one incident in Uvalde. So let me know your thoughts here in the comments. It's a major issue. We have issues like that. We have issues like Roe versus Wade. We have major issues like this in the United States that are being decided on potentially right now. Yeah, and these are going to shape the future of our country going forward one way or another, whether these are going to be decided on, not decided on, whether there's going to be decisions made or decisions not made. So now with this, now I'll show you this here. Jerry Nadler, who is the House Judiciary Committee chairman, says assault weapons ban will hit the U.S. House of Representatives floor if we have the votes, potentially as early as within the next week. If we have the votes. Now, the key will be in the Senate, where they will need 10 Republican votes. 10 Republican votes. And President Biden even said that in his speech. And President Biden said Republicans are the key. In fact, here's what he had to say.
This time, we have to take the time to do something. And this time, it's time for the Senate to do something. But as we know, in order to get anything done in the Senate, we need a minimum of 10 Republican senators. I support the bipartisan efforts that include a small group of Democrats and Republican senators trying to find a way. But my God, the fact that the majority of the Senate Republicans don't want any of these proposals even to be debated or come up for a vote, I find unconscionable. We can't fail the American people again.
Now, let me know your thoughts here in the comments. Will we be able to pass any type of gun reform, background checks, not allowing assault semi-automatics, automatics, waiting periods, anything at all to help stop this problem in America, which is we're the only country that has this type of problem at this magnitude? Or will all the Republicans vote no on this, which a lot of them are bankrolled by the NRA, as you can see here, the National Rifle Association. Yeah, you can see right here. They literally spend millions and millions of dollars buying Republican senator votes so that they won't vote against gun laws. Um, and so this is part of the issue here. Ted Cruz, Mitch McConnell, Josh Hawley, even Mitt Romney, who's a very middle of the road Republican senator. So the question here is that will anything get passed, or will this just continue to um, have nothing at all passed? And well, I don't know. You tell me. So let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I know a lot of people have a lot of different opinions on this, but we're really talking about the more extreme issues here. Um, not regular gun ownership or anything like that. That's been an American right for since the start of America. We're talking about the more extreme stuff and background checks, waiting periods, automatics, stuff like that. Let me know your thoughts here in the comments. Um, it's just sad to see this happening to our children at hospitals, sporting events. Yeah. So, but they're going to try to make a decision on this. I'll keep you up to date here in our country. Make sure to subscribe down below to our YouTube channel. It's one of the few things that are still free here in our country. And click the bell icon next to the subscribe button so you get notifications when we come out with new videos. I'll keep you up to date here. Here's our newest stimulus check video with new stimulus checks that are coming out here in June for millions of people. And here is our newest video on new SNAP benefits, pandemic EBT benefits, and extra benefits that have just been announced. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.